Hey guys, what's up? It's Carmela Maniac. If you're new to my channel, sit down, chill, and hang out with me for a bit because today I'm going to be breaking down and reviewing Loser, which is a new release from TAME IMPALA. Now this song is an early release from their soon-to-be released album called Deadbeat. So TAME IMPALA obviously has some amazing songs, so I was definitely looking forward to reviewing this one. And when researching this musical group, I found out that TAME IMPALA is not a band. TAME IMPALA is just a creative project of one Australian dude by the name of Kevin Parker. Now, even though TAME IMPALA is under the direction of Kevin Parker and Kevin Parker only, for live performances he still has a live band behind him. But this was kind of a shock to me because I always thought that TAME IMPALA was a band and not just one person. So you learn something new every day. Anyway, it's time to talk about the actual song. Now this song starts off with a pretty simple and therefore catchy guitar riff, and the guitar riff makes this song very recognizable and allows people to relate to it more. Now even though the guitar riff sounds pretty simple, there's a lot of audio effects and probably different guitars that went into this seemingly simple guitar riff. Now all these effects and other guitars makes it sound thick and lets it take up a lot of space. So I think there's at least 2 guitars and 1 bass that play in the intro, but they all blend so well together in a kind of messy, grungy way. So they all sound like one sound. So the guitars are panned all the way to the left side and all the way to the right side. And the reason I say they kind of blend together messily is because the guitars on either side don't cleanly replicate each other in timing or tone. It's almost like the guitar on the right is an echo or a delayed effect of the guitar on the left. Then we have the quiet bass, which is panned directly to the center, but it's so quiet and subtle you barely even notice it. It almost just sounds like an extra element of the guitars that are panned to either side. Then there's a third guitar which plays at the end of each recognizable guitar riff, and this guitar sounds much cleaner in terms of the amount of distortion it has. Now this guitar riff that plays in the beginning is kind of the bass for the rest of the song, because it plays basically throughout the song. Although there are little elements that are added onto this melody here and there throughout the song. These kind of just flesh out the melody just a little bit more. Then Kevin starts off singing in his unique and very distinct style that is TAME IMPALA. Now Kevin always has a unique style and a unique sound to his vocals, especially in the beginning here where he sounds like he's kind of whining and he's sliding around his notes while still being in tune. Now in terms of audio effects, he sounds very thin, especially when he's singing higher notes. Now if you've ever watched any video off of my YouTube channel, you would know how they make vocals sound thin like that. Say it with me now. They add frequency cuts with an EQ to make his vocal frequency range a lot smaller than it is. Did you get it? Did you get it word for word? I know you did. Good job, you. You get an A+ for that. And if you didn't, I don't know what to tell you. You should have watched more of my YouTube videos. Anyway, these frequency cuts make TAME IMPALA sound like he's coming from a radio very far away. The reverb and the delay effects on him are the effects that are making him sound like he's coming from far away. Now imagine a radio, right? With TAME IMPALA or Kevin's vocals playing off of it. But imagine this radio in a big cathedral. That's exactly what his vocals sound like. And at some points they might have doubled his vocal part to make him sound wider, but in a fake kind of way because he's already very thin because of the EQs. He's also probably pretty compressed to make him crisp and washy, but in a good way. I get the message, I learned my lesson. At times they also add a second higher harmony part, making him sound angelic. Now all of these effects come together to make him sound very shimmery and psychedelic, which I think definitely was his goal. I get the message, I learned my lesson. This song is interesting because it kind of feels like a continuous moving walkway. And what I mean by that is there are no clear ups and downs to this song. And why I say that is because the recognizable guitar riff I mentioned earlier continues basically throughout the entire song. Like, the most that changes between the verses and the choruses are these small additions or subtractions of little supporting instruments that basically play the same melody as the main guitar riff. The only time the song really changes is in the bridge, where the guitar riff finally cuts out. And there's what sounds like a key change, but I'm not exactly sure that it is a key change. But it makes the bridge stand out very dramatically, like one of those weird Baja Subaru trucks that pretends to be normal. The other time that the song changes very slightly is when there's a break in the beat right after the first chorus. However, the guitar riff still plays during this time, but it does kind of break things up for us. What also contributes to the continuous moving walkway feeling is that most of the vocal melodies that Kevin sings in the verses and the choruses are the same. Like for the verse, every single line follows the exact same melody. And then for the chorus, we have a different melody that is the same for every 2 lines of the song, if that makes sense. Each chorus sounds the same and each verse sounds the same. And for me, this gets a little annoying after a while. But Kevin gets away with this because there are only 2 verses and only 2 choruses. So you only have to hear that melody twice, but technically you hear it way more than that because it's the same melody. But they alternate, so it's not like the same thing over and over and over again. And during later parts of the song, during the verse, there is a synth that plays the exact same notes that Kevin is singing. So it makes that verse just a little bit different than the one that came before it. Anyway, this isn't a bad song. We have the signature Kevin vocal sound and a song form that is definitely more modern, what with it feeling kind of like a continuous moving walkway throughout the entire song. And I expect nothing less from Kevin than shiny and unique sounding instruments and vocals. But I did expect this song to be a little bit more interesting, expansive, and psychedelic. And while the heavier guitar riff is definitely recognizable and comforting, I don't think that this is going to be my favorite Tame Impala song. I also really wanted some more variety in his vocal melodies. And another thing to point out is that Kevin sounds like he has more distortion and like he's coming from a radio more dramatically than any of his other popular music. Now, I think my personal favorite part would have to be the bridge, because it finally breaks up the musical pattern that we've been hearing for the entire song. So I'm going to give this song a 7.8 out of 10 on the mellometer, because I feel like it possibly could have been just a tad bit more interesting. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review, or even if you didn't, please consider subscribing to the channel. Tell me what you guys thought of Loser by Tame Impala in the comments below. Keep listening. I'll talk to you guys later. So you learned continuous walkway. You guys thought of Loser by Tame Impala. Say it with me now.